Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today I'm providing the beginner guitar players out there a proper introduction to bar chords. We're going to learn about how these chords relate to the open positions that we're already used to, and also the proper technique in executing them. Let's get started. Okay, a close look at the guitar neck, and we're getting started learning a basic major bar chord. The first thing that I want to mention is that all bar chords are based off of the open position chords that you already know. For example, E major. My middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, my 3rd finger below that, 2nd fret D string, and my 1st finger here on the 1st fret of the G string, nice and bent so I can allow the open strings below it to ring out nice and clear. So this is our E major chord. A chord that can easily be turned into a bar chord shape. To do that, all we need to do is free up your 1st finger. So I'll change my finger positions. Now my ring finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, my pinky is below that on the 2nd fret of the D string, and my middle finger is on the 1st fret of the G. I strum every string again, and I have E major. But now I'm in a position where I can easily just slide up 1 fret and drop my 1st finger across all of the strings on the 1st fret to create what is now called F major. Now I'm in a movable shape, meaning that I can take this chord and slide it up the neck to create every major chord in the book. Okay, so here we are in our F major position. And you might ask yourself, well, how do I know that that is an F major chord? Well, the answer to that question is whatever note you're playing on the 6th string or your low E, that is the root of the chord and therefore the name of the chord. So this is an F note found on that E string, and this is an F major chord. So if you know all the names of the notes on your E string, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, and then they all repeat themselves, you'll always know exactly what chord you're playing as you move across the neck and play these bar chord shapes. Okay, now that you know the basic mechanics behind building a bar chord, I'm going to invite you to meet me here on the 5th fret, which creates an A major chord. Again, I know that because my 1st finger is playing an A note on the 5th fret of the low E string, A major. You'll find that it sounds the same as the open position A major chord. Alright, so heading back over to our bar chord shape, our barred version of A major, let's talk about the hand position that goes into creating a perfect bar chord. The first thing that I want to mention is thumb placement is probably the most important thing. Where the thumb goes, the rest of the fingers will go, in particularly the index finger. So, I have my bar chord shape set up. My thumb is going to go all the way down to the bottom half of the neck, nice and low. And as I do that, my index finger is going to automatically straighten. In addition, I'm going to get nice arches on these other fingers here that are going to allow me to clear the strings, allowing each one to ring out nice and clear. Taking a look at the back side of the neck, we can see where my thumb is. If it was to travel up, I get a lot of dead notes involved, no good. So, watch as the thumb comes down. You can see my hand kind of straighten up. Now I'm nice and flush with the index finger on the strings. The thumb is definitely past the 50% point of the neck, right here in the center. And I'm able to get a nice clean chord. A couple of other details that go into playing a perfect bar chord. I'm also using the strength of my arms to get a little extra pressure. This is especially useful when you start to feel yourself becoming slightly fatigued. So as I play that bar chord, thumb is still nice and low, the fingers are nice and arched, I'm on the tips of my fingers. I'm also pulling back and pushing my chest into the guitar just enough to get a little extra power. Okay, real quick I want to mention that nobody picks these chords up instantaneously. This is one of those things that just requires a lot of practice and a ton of patience. But as you get a little bit better with it, I want you to compare the bar chord shapes with the open position shapes of the same name. For example, this A major chord that we've been working on should sound very similar to the open position A major chord. Now they do have a slightly different sound. This is what we call voicings on the guitar. Alright, just like that, we can compare those two chords and try to move the chord around from fret to fret and establish what key we're actually playing in. So if this is my A chord, if I bring it up a whole step, I have a B major chord. My D major chord on the 10th fret, try that out. And I can go to the 3rd fret to create a very common G major chord, which also sounds almost exactly like my open position G. Okay, so all of your open position chords can be used to create bar chord shapes. We just did it with our E major chord by switching our finger positions up, freeing up the first finger, and dragging up the neck to create every major chord in the book. Let's try to do that same exact process, but now with our A major chord shape. Now the way I play my A major chord, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D string, my 3rd finger is below that on the 2nd fret of the G string, and my pinky is below that on the B string 2nd fret. I'm on the tip of my fingers are nice and bent, and I can strum. From the A string down, this is a typical A major open position chord. The first finger is already free. If you were playing your A major chord with the first finger on top, you would have to change your position. So now that we have this A chord set up, all we need to do to create every major chord in the book is just slide it up 1 fret and drop the first finger down. Repeat the same process that we had for that E major rooted bar chord, right? So now my thumb's nice and low, fingers are straight, and I'm creating my A rooted major chords. And I can literally do this with every type of open position chord, major or minor, dominant 7th, doesn't matter what it is, to create a whole bunch of really useful bar chord shapes. Okay, so now we have 2 types of major bar chords to practice over the course of the week. Those that are rooted off of the E string, like this A major chord shown here on the 5th fret, and then those that are based off of the A major chord and rooted on the A string. This is the 5th fret of the A string, that's a D note, so then this is a D major chord. I should also point out that this is pretty much the same thing as using our capo. If I grab a capo and put it here on the 5th fret, I can play my E major and A major chord. You can see the bar chord shape now. If I put my first finger over top of the capo, I'm basically making a bar chord. Might be useful for your practice. Okay, so this week we're going to practice through our basic major bar chord shapes. Again, the thumb is low, my fingers are nice and arched here on the tips of the fingers, and I'm pulling back with my arms, pushing my chest into the guitar just enough to get a little extra pressure, not excessive at all, to master so many different chord progressions and so many different tunes that were otherwise inaccessible before learning these bar chord shapes. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this beginner-friendly lesson on bar chords. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. I got plenty more videos coming up, so keep checking back, please subscribe, and please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying happy picking.